I don't think he's had a great year. He's had a good year. He is a great player. Well, this is exciting. It's Carlton and Collingwood. It is at the G, and off we go. And they are playing for, or they're playing for their football lives in 2020. Elliott first touch to Pendles, and why not Pendles, eh? Kicks to full forward. Stevenson got underneath it a bit. He kicks goals in the opening term. He's back, we know. Curnow has to concede. Jones has to stand up. He does. Little handball. Cripps arches his back, coughs it up, gets it to the boundary line. And a throw in. It'll be tense and intense, Haim early.
One of the great rivalries in sport. Nothing manufactured about it. They've been playing against each other since 1897, and a home and away match that means so much. Adams, little one, almost to main. Grundy did well at ground level. Walsh waited for it. Adams been superb in the last month. Floats it towards full forward. Chance for Myercheck. Couldn't get back to the ball. Jones had to be quick. Was Martin. Maynard. Good collision. Main to Pendlebury. Phillips. Pendlebury. Now he just sinks a little to a dangerous spot. Darcy Cameron not quite. Liam Jones knocked down. Settlefield starting to find his way. Williamson on his left, and then here's a fan favourite in bets.
It's been good, Williamson. In fact, Carlton's back six have been really good, haven't they, for most of the year. Betts goes back.
Hold.
Eddie
Thanks, Jamie.
had a nilly match, didn't he, in the Indigenous round? It could have been a 4-goal game. He kept dropping marks, but he kept doing constructive things with the footy. That one he hasn't quite got enough on, and Pendlebury's able to cut it off. So he's closing in, Haim, on a couple of big records, Pendles, isn't he?
He's getting very close. Tony Shaw and then Nathan Buckley is game's captain. Noble fires the ball inside, but no one really at home. Stevenson pointed to where he wanted his Cam Polson first game of the year. Through the middle. De Koning not quite.
Advantage, Collingwood.
Madgen's happy to take it. Pendlebury called for the ball, ignored. Delivery terrific. Sliding ball. Now can the Pies get the first through Josh Thomas, who'll kick it from right on 50.
Really important to use these hit-ups early in the game because they've gone so tall, or both sides have gone so tall in the forward line. The opposition defenders and backmen will naturally sag back, so you want to hit a couple up early to force them to play to their more direct opponent.
Hasn't played in all the Pies matches this year. 5 times an emergency, a couple of goals only, 2 of those in the last 3 weeks. Always to the left. Hodgie.
Yeah, just a few matchups down here. We've got Jones picking up Cameron, Wiedering on Myercheck, and up the other end, the 3 guys who I'd identified before the game. Moore has got Mackay, Maynard's got Martin, and Cripps has got Betts. So their jobs are rebounding. As we say, turnover, goal there.
Well called, Hodgie, well called. Phillips gets the first. Hodgie, you could play at both ends. You could do anything on the footy field. I feel like I'm redundant already. I'm going to leave, I reckon. Good goal. Good goal. Poor kick by Doherty, wasn't it? Just a sort of nothing, half a kick, wasn't it?
Well, if you look at behind the goals footage there, Doherty peeled out onto his right side. It was a skill error, but he had to try and pull one back inside the middle because Collingwood was so well set up. Actually had 2 out numbers for the long kick for Doherty, so he's tried to make one difficult across his body, but a good finish from Phillips. Turnover, error, but you would be looking at that as Carlton. You just go, well, that's a skill error, and that's all he can do about it.
Hodgie.
I know if I was a Collingwood coach right now, I'd be saying that that's what they're trying to do. You saw Betts up over the other side, try to pull one inside. Doherty's tried to be aggressive. So, if anything from those first 2 kicks that have been turnovers, they're not going to die wondering. They're going to pull the trigger and hope it comes off.
A scramble in the middle of the gap, and then Phillips, who kicked the goal, loses control of the football. Martin floats it towards full forward. Mackay couldn't get it the 3rd time, then gave away the free kick to Noble.
Hold, Harry, hold. Wait there, please. Wait. Right there.
Noble to Dacos. Father featuring so prominently in the highlights in the build-up to this match. Cox had to go and get the ball. It's a long way down. Quick one to Pendlebury, and then hugs the boundary line.
We might see that a little bit today, where sides coming out of their back 50, because they've gone so tall, you can go slow and take that long down the line method and get the front and squares there.
Pitnet and Grundy front spot. Pitnet just ends up with the football and tries to get out of the Elliott tackle. Couldn't quite. Little one, Tyler Brown, back in with his brother today, Phillips. Quickly, again, gave up the football, crashing it forward. Who's going to get first there? Casbolt. He was too slow. Mackay too, and Darcy Moore achieved what he wanted to. So, first goal from a Doherty error to the Pies. Phillips the goal scorer. They lead by 7 early doors.
Phillips' first goal since round 4 this year. He kicked a couple of goals twice in the first 4 rounds. Cripps' handball didn't get clear. Brown was involved. Pendlebury prominent early. Not surprising with that. Elliott to Dacos. His father was Collingwood's best 32 years ago when the two teams plus played in a final. Plowman's handball cut off and a boundary throw in. So the Blues have got it to 50, Jimmy, 2-3 times, and they haven't been able to get it inside, really, have they?
Yeah, they probably haven't found one in that launch zone of 70 metres out, so they've probably done their inside 50 from too deep at the moment.
Pitnet, he's been super this year in the absence of Matthew Cruiser. Paddy Dow back in today, one of the 2 ins for the Blues. Murphy getting close to 300. Underneath all of that, Curnow involved. Dacos held momentarily by Cripps. One of the free kick won't get it. Cripps desperate for the football, got his hands on it. Murphy, a little bit of support, but in the arms of Pendlebury and going nowhere.
Carlton,
Dangerous tackle.
Free kick. Carlton free kick. Mark, you've got the football. Mark, you got the football. Yep. Yeah, got you.
Dangerous tackle. He didn't have the football either when tackled. So a couple of greats for their respective clubs. Murphy to Liam Jones, who's been rejuvenated as a Blue and a backman.
So this slow build-up, which West Coast have probably done it really well in the last couple of years. You wait till you get to the logos on the ground, and then you make your decision a lot quicker.
So Plowman's kick, good, to Casbolt.
So wheel and go from here, Casbolt, if you can.
So he tries to control it, not a great kick, and Main courageously got in front of Mackay. So Moore prepared to let Mackay go. Back goes Main.
Oh, play on.
And Noble comes across the ground. Crisp. Just a fumble, a couple of fumbles. A poor handball actually to Maynard. It wasn't Crisp, was it? Dacos held up. Gibbons in there. Out of play. Hodgie, just one quick one. How hot is it there today? I mean, it looks quite warm, is it or not?
It's actually not as bad as we've had the last few games here. There's a nice little breeze, which is keeping it pretty cool. So I'd say it's about 22, 23, but not overly hot compared to what we've had the last week or so.
Betts almost able to flick it wide to Gibbons in the end. The Pies through the middle of the ground. Bouncing ball for Doherty. Wants Wiedering. Saw him there. Handball not perfect. Time for Plowman. Pressure was on, but got the handball away to the youngster in Walsh. Wiedering knew his man was there. From a young gun involved to Simpson, who's been around for so long as a Blue. Drawing the man Fisher, then happy just to go long to full forward. Pitnet gets into a good spot. Cameron brings the ball to ground. Casbolt, Betts, couldn't quite work it out. Quainer lost the football. Little give, Roughhead couldn't find his foot. Betts, brilliant. Mackay a chance. Over to Fisher, not quite. Adams, can he find Quainer? He does. Little handball might come unstuck. Roughhead in trouble. Taken to ground. Gibbons gets involved. Finally a whistle.
Gee, Jimmy, and they're going to love that, the Blues. That forward 50 pressure worked there, didn't it?
Yeah, it allows their defenders to set up really high. We saw the last exit from Collingwood. Doherty was up near the centre of the ground.
Tyler Brown, the two Browns, as Hames said, both back today. Phillips worried out of it in the end by Walsh. He's had a good month, Walsh. I mean, he's had a great career. He hasn't missed a game. He was the rising star, but he's had a terrific month or two, hasn't he? Or probably 4 to 6 weeks, where his game's changed a bit. Adams, talk about good months. Back to Walsh, back to Murphy. That squeezy kick. Oh, should have marked the Casbolt. Nunes taken down. Probably a little bit stiff in the end. Maynard's handball away. Chris paddles it in front. Setterfield gets in front of him. Phillips gets down really low with Doherty. And what an opportunity missed for the Blues.
Hodgie, just looking at this replay, is Levi Casbolt looking directly into the sun the way he was leading?
Yeah, it is, mate. both forwards, there's been a couple of times down there where they've either dropped the mark or it slipped through their hands. Mackay dropped one earlier. They're looking directly into the sun.
Setterfield quickly forward. Here's a chance out the back. Eddie Betts on his left. Eddie! He's a genius. He's a beauty. Phillips, the left at one end, and Eddie Betts on the left at the other. So the Blues manufacture something. Eddie Betts, he's had quite 6 weeks or so, but goal last week, nothing much doing the 4 matches prior, but he gets there first today.
Well, this Eddie Betts goal comes off the back of the repeat pressure inside forward 50, which leads to repeat entries, and Bruce touched on it. The pressure of the Carlton small forwards, even the big keys getting involved. You're allowed to set, well, it helps you set up your backline group really high. We've seen Doherty, Wiedering, these guys inside the front half for Carlton. Repeat inside 50s provide opportunities like this, and let's not undersell how difficult that kick was. If he actually fully kicked the ball would have swung away to the left. Just by half kicking it, it didn't have its full momentum going across. It just sort of held its line by half kicking it.
Well summed up from a bloke that could do something similar. Half of his 12 goals have come in the opening term this year for Betts. He can strike the board early. You always feel like the game's better when Eddie scores a goal, don't you? And we've had that today. Back to Setterfield. Carlton on top at the moment. Kicks towards Betts. He's looking dangerous. Maynard. Eddie's got it again. Hasn't got enough on it. But he is hanging. He is up and about.
Absolutely. Looking dangerous, as you say. Darcy Moore, he's been so reliable for the Pies. Mason Cox, outmuscled by Liam Jones. Again, Casbolt has to deal with the Pies and the Sun. Ball just knocked away. Tyler Brown watches on. Adams, little chance in the end. Thomas, Main, now Adams. Uncertain. Mason Cox, Liam Jones, and then the flyer, Elliott. He was terrific, as he always is in the air.
Was a fine mark, came. Good kick too. Protected the space, Stevenson. Just timed his run at the ball perfectly, so they couldn't spoil him. Back to Main. Main's been an emergency a couple of times in the last 4 weeks, so that certainty of him playing has eroded like it was in his first year there, but he was good last week. He does play a specific role, doesn't he? Grundy a target.
2 metres back. Hold there now.
So Tom gets back. Now Brodie hasn't got the trip, we know that, so he darts around, looking, and then little neat kick. Stevenson doesn't make it though. Simpson, Setterfield, Cripps, well done by Thomas. Walsh showed a bit of composure, didn't he, and gets it out of the back 50.
And the fly was from Martin Quainer. Did well, just worked his way through to the top of the square. Cox is there, so too Jones. Quick kick, Thomas. Quick response from the Pies. They lead it by 7. Quick thinking. Three goals, 13 minutes of football. Warm afternoon at the Gabba. So much to play for. The Pies, they win, and they're in pretty good shape. The Blues, they win, and they're absolutely in the hunt.
It's a good kick by Quainer. I mean, it was just the perfect kick, I reckon, that one.
Well, Quainer off the rebound and repeat inside forward 50, but it was a flat enough kick where the Carlton defenders couldn't come over and help out. Liam Jones there, and good play by Mason Cox. He couldn't mark the footy, but just brought it down, gave Thomas the best opportunity to rove it front and square, and there'll be lots of opportunities for him today if he just keeps hitting the feet of Cox and Cameron and Myercheck.
He's important for them, Thomas, I reckon, because he's been struggling this year. He kicked 60 goals in the previous 2 when you add them together, 38 and 22, so he's up and about a bit. Hodgie?
And that last kick there was a perfect one to Cox. He actually sat it in front so he could run and jump at it. Up the other end when they kicked it on his head where Jones outmarked him. They haven't given him any time to use his height. Jones could just use his strength to move him out of the road.
Curnow, and that's the joy of Quainer, isn't he? That kicking prowess, that kick by Gibbons. Martin, I think he's gone.
On the ball, Collingwood.
Gee, Maynard's good, because Martin is very good, and Maynard was able to beat him there, wasn't he? Martin had a bit of control, but he couldn't release it because of Maynard. Elliott. Centering ball. Dangerous, but very good kick to Phillips.
Little handball. Now Crisp to half forward. On the bounce, Hoskin Elliott waits the ball, puts it in front of Thomas, and he can have a look at his second inside him, and it was a perfect kick.
Just that little shift from, you know, coming back through the middle of the ground. As a Carlton defence, you can't get set. You can't peel over and help out, as Hodgie touched on, you know, trying to help out on the tools. The Carlton defenders all have to go here strictly one-on-one, as we see behind the goals footage.
That was a perfect kick from Elliott here, but that doesn't just happen. You had Noble, who worked across just to create space for him and left space behind for that kick to open up. So it was well worked. Good teamwork there from Collingwood.
Has 1-1. Looked lively. Crisp involved in all of that, Bruce. 136 now without miss.
Yeah, it's remarkable, Ham. So 130 of them with Collingwood, but he hasn't missed a game since round 17, 2014. 2014.
Hard to imagine, isn't it?
So here's Simpson. Long ball out. Blues on the back foot suddenly again. Collingwood started well, then Carlton had a bit of control. Back with Collingwood. Josh Thomas, 3 shots on goal. Martin's important. I think you talked about him pre-match, Jimmy, didn't you, Martin? Just he's important, isn't he?
Yeah, 30% of all Carlton scoring chains, he's involved in it. He plays off the back of Cripps and those inside players. Setterfield.
Ball out of bounds. So the Pies with Dacos, a chance to set up Crisp.
With me. Play on!
Towards half forward, into the shadows. Wiedering, Cameron, Paulson. One of the two ins. Paddy Dow the other after overcoming that knee issue. Setterfield starting to grow as a player. Darcy Moore, Casbolt. Darcy Moore infringed.
Contact Collingwood. Hold there. Play on. Mate. Play on, play on.
Moore to Noble. And now to Roughhead. It just gets there. De Koning made a good fist of it. Quainer gives an option. Just adds a little bit of dash, doesn't he, Quainer, to the Pies outfit?
Yeah, he's a point of difference. Mentioned earlier that Maynard and Chris like to kick the footy. We got a free kick off the ball here.
Take the ball there. Carlton, free kick here, down where the ball is, possession. Here, Mason. On.
Just holding Liam Jones behind the play, holding him, stopping him from coming to the marking contest.
Williamson, kick to Murphy. The 2-3s collide. Fisher, little scoop flick, throw perhaps, or even just a brilliant handball. Have to have another look at it. Murphy and Quainer again wrap themselves up. Gee, Fisher was quick on the scoop and give, and the ball spills out eventually. But
Carlton pushing the back. Hold there. Push out. Come on.
So Walsh gets a free kick. Now, they haven't been able to take a mark in this situation. Grundy can, though. So that's not working for them at the minute, is it? That kick's not working for them. Here's Quainer.
That's why they need Pitnet to push down with Grundy. You know Grundy's going to get back and try and intercept Mark. Pitnet was right beside him. He was about 2 metres off. He has to fly with that contest.
And just further that, Hodgie, as well, like one of the 3 forwards still has to present. They all can't just put their finger up at the top of the goal square and say, dump it long.
Especially when there's so many numbers back there, Jimmy.
Yep, good stuff. So Myercheck, lovely to have him back. Pendlebury, first goal this season last week, and is that Hoskin Elliott, who's a bit disappointed with the skipper. Pendle sees everything on the footy field, Amy. He probably thought I guess he saw Hoskin Elliott.
I think that shows the pressure that's down here. Every time someone's picked up the ball, they're getting tackled, they're getting chased. And for someone like Pendlebury, who never makes a mistake like that, he just got rushed because of the intensity that's been around him.
Pendlebury and rush, not often a word used to describe how Pendlebury felt. His Pitnet just keeps it in, does well. Kick to Walsh was good, and he backs himself against Adams with the speed towards half forward. Is Fisher. As he run onto that left of his, decides to pull up and look at the next option. Martin's providing the lead, runs into the space. Good hands the first time, and then just let it go. Madgen tried to knock it away. Martin back to Fisher. Fisher from 50, looks towards the square, doesn't have the distance. Bit fly from Cripps. Nunes not quite. Maynard under pressure. Knew his man was there in Noble. To Moore, hard up against the boundary was Madgen, and the ball ends up with Paulson. Somehow keeps it in. Back to Quainer. Out of trouble, maybe only momentarily.
Bouncing ball now, Haim. Onto it, Murphy. Ricocheted out the back. Jones to Murphy. And then Murphy quietens us down a little bit. Gets it to Plowman. Plowman, that's a good kick. Noons. They tell me he can kick a goal, Noons.
I think he's kicked 65 in his career. He's only even going to talk about one, isn't he?
Sets that up for full forward. Well done, Madgen at the back of Casbolt. Lovely little give by Roughhead. Hoskinelli didn't get enough on it. Walsh will kick a goal. He does. He's improving, the rising star. Jimmy's got better. He was very good last year. Bailey Smith, I reckon, a nose in front of him, but he's going with him. He's got better.
Yeah, he's starting to find a bit more of the footy, and I think we touched on in the pre-game with Cripps playing better. He plays better as well. Not as much pressure on him, but he's pushing in harder into forward 50, so he's winning a few more touches forward to centre.
Yeah, he can kick a goal now, can't he?
Well, the entry wasn't too great. It was on top of Casbolt's head there, but this is what you really want to see from your midfield. Just push inside forward 50, provide that first layer of defence, and a missed kick, but you still have to be there in position, and picked it up and converted it well. So 2 goals from Carlton off almost repeat entries or turnovers. They just tidy up their ball use, kick a bit lower, a bit flatter inside forward 50. They probably could have capitalised from their field position so far in this first quarter.
So Walsh kicks his first of the afternoon. He's kicked 6 now for the year, kicked 6-13 last year in his debut season. Pitnet and Grundy again. Pitnet just missed his foot. Brown over the top. This time to Elliott. Again, a dangerous task for the Blues, but Liam Jones, as he's done so often in recent years, saves the day. Kick, well, Maynard just knew what he had to do. Murphy waited for the football. Maynard went and got it. Elliott again fires inside. Kick impeded. Brown, little give, Quainer. And now to Elliott, a third time looking for a target inside 50. Stevenson went without it. Hoskin Elliott tried to muscle his way through. Thomas, Cox couldn't get a foot on it. Plowman knocked it towards Nunes. Williamson, hard up against the point post, into the belly of Wiedering.
Fortuitous maybe, but good defence at the back. Compare the pair was interesting, Wiedering and Moore, different types of players, but at similar stages of their careers in terms of games played. Both having fine seasons, they do it differently. Hodgie.
Yeah, the Murphy one here, as you see, he slows down. The ball was right in the sun. The team that's kicking to the left of screen, they're looking straight into that. And as you could see, Murphy lost it, but I think it was Maynard who cut across and watched it straight into his hands.
So Mackay ran out of room.
Throw it in.
And Carlton midfield should be alert to Jamie Elliott, especially at centre bounces. He's naturally an attacking player who plays most of his football forward to the ball. He's had 8 touches, but he's always going to get on the fly going forward. So you almost need that goalkeeper or your sweeper keeping an eye out for him bursting through the stoppage.
2 players closest to the umpire, Cripps and Pendlebury, shoulder to shoulder. Tyler Brown, Paddy Dow.
And Haim on Cripps. No kicks, a couple of handballs. He's had a very quiet opening.
Pitnet searching for Gibbons. Grundy forced to do the dirty work. Cripps lost it. Elliott stole it, then floats it towards half forward, waiting for it a long time and doing well. Williamson.
He's part of that back 6. It's been pretty impressive. They're growing just like their team is. So Williamson a bit undersized, so he plays the safety first ball down the line. There's Cripps. Paulson, first game for the year. Does he get the target? That's a good kick to Noons. There's enough time here. Lovely long ball. Last roll of the dice. Oh, he had a fair bit of it, Tom, didn't he? Not paid. I'm not disappointed at you. What a good first quarter we have seen. What do you reckon, Jimmy? Did he have enough of it?
Oh, no.
Fair enough. There you go.
Is that an arm chop there, Jimmy? A little arm chop?
It's an arm chop, Hodgie.
That's why Jimmy won a Brownlow and you didn't, Hodgie. He's an umpire's man. We'll be back.